Warm regards from Bogotá, Colombia. Many thanks to the Department of Educational Psychology and the Division for Internationalization in partnership with the library for this important event. Career transition and the world of work for youth with disabilities, an inclusive perspective. I especially thank Professor Lauren Lindstrom and my friend Max Foro, who have made important academic contributions to the construction of the Latin American model transitional orientation for the ethical sense of life of Latin American network of professionals of guidance Relapro. Thanks, Max. We present here the case of multiple fibrosis of a student who has been advised and guided by our colleague Sandra Gomez, who is a special educator who works with the student in different situations of disability and or differential educational needs in a school in Bogota, Colombia. This student will be identified with the acronym JML. He is a 15 years old boy. He is currently in sixth grade of basic secondary education at CAF College in Bogota, which implies being in a regular situation for exceeding the rule of 2 years above the average age expected in this grade. He studies, like all other students, in virtual mode due to the global situation of pandemic. This student has been diagnosed with multiple fibrosis, a disease characterized by the excessive development of fibrous connective tissues in an organ or tissues as a consequence of a reparative or reactive process, as opposed to the formation of fibrous tissues as a normal constituent of an organ or tissue. JML was born in Bogota, Colombia in 2005. He entered school at third grade, showing many challenges to socialize and understand the activities of the grade in which he was. The school Educational Inclusion Department asked the mother to request the pertinent neuropsychological evaluation, thus determining an intellectual deficit associated with a history of fibrosis. Family support, mainly mother and younger brother, has been decisive in their adequate adaptation to the school environment, responding to the requirements and advice of the professional in charge, is aware of establishing routines so that her child develops maximum independence. Every time the family has been requested, it participates judiciously and supports the process. He is receiving now the specialized pedagogical support manifested in curricular adaptation, constant motivation and school reinforcement in specific areas of writing expression and writing comprehension, mainly since the student has a good level of oral comprehension and expression. The Inclusion Department has supported them in understanding diversity and in generating achievable goals and objectives in the understanding that people with disability are still in limbo when it comes to inclusive education at technical, technological, and even more professional levels. James M. L's mother expectation. The transformation of J.M.L. in her history as a student practically begins from the third grade when he entered to the CF of school. The teacher discovered signs of disability on J.M.L. and suggested counseling with a special educator. Then the transition challenges we have experienced are learning to know how James M sees Disease are difficult in order to overcome this challenge to help him to be a normal child. Those have been the challenge that we take on as a family to be able to help him, accompany him, and to be able to move forward so that he can develop as a normal career in the future as other children with zero disabilities can develop. That is what we as parents have focused on for James L. Final recommendation from the perspective of a school guidance department. Synopsis project. To develop academic work based on the curricular integration backstories that allow the articulation of several compulsory academic areas and evaluated from the four communication skills according to the approach of the universal learning design. Thank you. Thank you to all the people that are seeing or watching this transmission.